everyone. This is the first time I've done a Facebook Live, and I hope it works out. The reason I'm going Facebook Live is I need to quickly talk about the recent abduction and murder of one of the Thai dissidents, whose name is Manoi, also known as Goti. And the Thai government claims that they know nothing about it, and it's not at all their responsibility to find out who assassinated Manoi, but we do know who assassinated Manoi, and I feel like I have enough. I've been watching this situation unfold such that I know that the Thai government is lying when they say that they don't know. So to begin at the beginning, I'll just tell the story from my own perspective. On the King's birthday, I was watching a live video of some of the Federalist Thai exiles, and they were joking around and very purposely ignoring the King's birthday. They were saying it was a very special day for one person, and then they'd veer off and mention somebody other than the King. They played some English language songs, and they played their own songs with the Lese Majesty content that had gotten them kicked out of Thailand. And I just want to say that these people who have been driven out of Thailand are kind of like, it's kind of as if the whole cast of Saturday Night Live and all the reporters in CNN had been driven out of the United States because they were sarcastic and because they were reporting a version of the news that contradicted the government's version of the news. This is what it's like in Thailand. And anyhow, so I'm hanging out watching this video. I'm feeling good. There was very few people watching it, maybe about 1,000. The next morning, I wake up and I turn on my phone to listen to a broadcast from a different Thai exile, another Federalist. And I do this so that I can improve my Thai language. And I heard directly on this day, the words just jumped out clear at me, that Manoi had been abducted. And this was John Chupong who reported it. He was very emotional, and he said that Manoi had been taken, and at this moment no one knew if he was dead or alive. Soon a very full and detailed story came out through witnesses interviewed by Kun Jom. 10 men in black wearing ski masks had jumped out at Manoi, his wife and a friend as they were getting out of a car and about to enter their house. The attackers were speaking Thai amongst themselves. They tied up everyone with plastic ties, put on gags and blindfolds, and used stun guns. While gagged and blindfolded, the two others heard Manoi being stunned and saying, "I can't breathe." And then he went silent. And then they dragged him off. The other two were left behind, freed themselves, and immediately reported the crime to local authorities and started searching for Manoi. They posed pictures of the materials the attackers had used to tie them up. I am in the habit of not mentioning the countries that the exiles live in, even in the cases where I know, and I don't always know. And I will continue with that, although Human Rights Watch and others have reported where this took place. It was in a country neighboring Thailand. Manoi was the most recent nickname this man used on his broadcast. It means little dog, and the word dog in Thai is a huge insult, much more so than in English. So to me, it emphasized that he was a very scruffy fighter. Another nickname that he goes by is Goti, and that's the one you will more often hear in the news and in the human rights reports. His real name is Wutipon Katchatamakun. A year earlier in July, the same thing had happened to another person in this very same group of exiled Federalists. Itipun Sukapan, or DJ Zunho, was grabbed by men in camouflage off his motorcycle. He was never heard from again, and he is presumed dead. As soon as we learned that Manoi had been abducted, we assumed that he was dead, just like DJ Zunho. That weekend, I was preparing my speech for the 5th anniversary conference for the Thai Alliance for Human Rights, but the speeches had to take second place to preparing a statement about the abduction of Manoy, and we sent letters of protest to the international organizations. The others on the committee alerted me to a detail that I hadn't noticed. The abduction and probable murder had happened the day after the king's birthday. The rumor going around amongst the Thai dissidents was that Manoy's death was King Vajiralongkorn's present to himself and a warning to all the dissidents that they were in danger of also being killed. The junta had been trying to extradite Manoy along with all the other Thai dissidents around the world, first for lèse majesty, which is saying something negative about someone with royal blood, and next for supplying weapons to people back in Thailand. The accusation of weapons dealing looked so much like a setup that most of the Thai news articles reporting it began with the Deputy Prime Minister's statement, "This is not a setup." Unfortunately for the Thai junta, the tactic of accusing political opponents of weapons dealing has been overplayed. And after they found, you know, I forget, it was 8 or 9 people to confess that they had been supplied weapons by Manoy, then they linked this supposed plot to every other dissident in the world that they wanted to neutralize, including several of my friends in the United States. It was completely ridiculous. In doing research for our statement, I found a video with English subtitles containing the lèse majesty statement that Manoy had made and that had resulted in the charge that drove him into exile. In the context of protests and street fighting with the yellow shirts who were trying to overthrow the elected government of Yingluck Shinawatra, they succeeded. Manoy had said King Bhumibol was supporting the yellow shirt protests and the series of coups in Thai politics, and that if the yellow shirts succeeded in overthrowing the elected government, there would be a civil war. And he said, "And I myself will light the explosion." While this is a violent statement, it is the sort of statement almost any ordinary American would make upon hearing that some internal faction was trying to overthrow the elected government. His exact statement, which he said to an English language reporter, I think might have been Australian, on Vice News, "I'm fighting the one who is behind the mob," and he pointed up in the air. "You know the meaning, right? That is the king. I'm fighting him. Because every time the alliance, that is the yellow shirt, sets up the mob, the king is always behind it. Others would not dare say it, but I dare. Why can't he remain under the Constitution like England, Japan, or Sweden? At present, he acts like he's above the Constitution, suppressing Thai people. That's why Thai people are still poor." This was Manoy or Gotti. He was probably the most daring Thai resident, according to Dr. Pyongdin. He always spoke very directly and seemingly without fear, and it was kind of a mystery why he seemed so fearless. And whatever you thought of his tactics or his personality, his analysis, according to Dr. Pyongdin and other dissidents, was for the most part right on. It is ironic that for the sin of insisting that the king was a shadowy force behind everything, he was killed by royalist thugs jumping out at him from the shadows. It seemed like poetic injustice. I searched through the Thai Alliance for Human Rights webpage, Facebook page, and sent emails and discovered that we had written many times about Manoy in English, enough that we could document in English our concern that he was being hunted. In addition, Manoy and other Federalists had been shouting loudly themselves in Thai that they were being hunted. Manoy's associate, Luang Sanam Luang, claimed that he had been warned that he was being hunted by direct orders of King Vajiralongkorn. The evidence is out there in the Thai language broadcast by Manoy and Luang Sanam Luang, and a member of our organization has reviewed the last broadcast of Manoy, documenting the most chilling statements. And right now I'm going to read to you what Dr. Pyongdin found, and he transcribed from one of Manoy's last broadcasts where he kind of predicts his own death. This was his last broadcasts were about the Thai monarchy and the drug trade. He said the Thai monarchy was involved in the drug trade. And in episode 3 of Thai monarchy and drugs, he said, all these that I have presented in episodes so that they won't become boring. I have done all these firstly because we don't have any weapons, no tanks, M16, AKA, or submarines. So we use the small media channel to condemn the wrongdoings of the monarch, as all the media in Thailand surrender in silence and fear. So I, Ma Noi, have to do this. I have told you many times that I will not be discouraged to fight with the royal regime, although there are obstacles such as being hunted by the king's servants, who have spent an enormous amount of money to have someone shoot at my head or slit my throat, so that I wouldn't be able to speak and persuade you, the people, to rise up and topple the monarchy. So with that, there's not much needs to be added, because there's a whole lot like that in Ma Noi's last broadcast. So we can document 100% that Ma Noi knew that he was being hunted, that the international community of dissidents knew that he was being hunted. We can also document that the Thai people in general knew that he was being hunted, because a most wanted poster came out, and it was a graphic, a very poorly thought out, unethical graphic to illustrate a news story, but it had 9 of the lèse majesty suspects, the broadcasters around the world who insult the king by reporting stories like the monarchy and drugs. So on this poster, there was 9 people. One of them was Ma Noi. One of them was DJ Zunho, who has been dead a year. And then another one was a friend of mine. And that was very upsetting to me. The article underneath it, just generally said that these are, understood to be the people that the junta is most going after. And I asked a friend of mine, I said, why is the #1 person on this most wanted poster someone who's been dead a year? And she said, I think it's because nobody remembers he's dead. I feel like it's only me who remembers he's dead. And in the year leading up to Ma Noi's abduction, we had been trying to draw attention to this, and one of the ways we tried to draw attention to it without announcing that there's a price on Ma Noi's head, which you don't want to say too loudly. One of the ways we did it was to remember DJ Zunho, and we put out a tribute to him, recollections of his life and his death, and that got like 10,000 likes in Thai. People are allowed to feel sorry that someone died. They're not allowed to say, I think I know who did it. And that's the perverse situation in Thailand today. At the conference, someone came up to me and said they had gotten confirmation that Ma Noi was dead 1,000%, they said. Other conversations at the conference went like this. What do you think happened to Ma Noi? I think he's dead. I hope he wasn't tortured first. He was probably tortured. I don't think so. It sounds like he was suffocated immediately, and this is the happy thought. And the other person says, I hope he faked his death to escape the ones hunting me. No, he's probably dead. The next morning, I pick up my phone, and the first thing I see is a dead corpse staring at me off of a front page of a Thai newspaper, and the headline says, what do you think? Is this Ma Noi? Now, this is the most horrifying a picture that I have seen on a newspaper. And anyways, it's a decomposed body that I thought was Manoi. And not knowing what a week-old corpse is supposed to look like, you know, I feared that he had been tortured looking at this corpse. As it turned out, this was not Manoi. It was somebody else. When they called Manoi's family, they said that's not him, and then another family ended up claiming the body. But the picture of the corpse upset me, and that is why I hurried and took this vacation, moved it forwards, so that I could regroup. I think that I have more evidence. I have a lot of ways to prove that we knew that he was being hunted, but the best evidence came from Manoi's radio broadcast, which I already read to you. So I might finish up there, and if I see that I missed something, I will get back on. But the main point is that we have a lot of evidence that this was state-sponsored, and we believe that the order came directly from King Vajiralongkorn, and the fact that it happened a day after the king's birthday is significant, and it's an act of terrorism because the government and the king are trying to warn all the dissidents. And I think this is maybe the only element of the story that maybe Human Rights Watch isn't shouting about, that we can shout about. This is an act of international terrorism. And while Thailand tries to make it seem like Manoi was the one who was violent, he was violently murdered for saying something. And he was murdered in order to scare a whole bunch of other people that I know into silence. And that's all I have to say, and I guess I'll get off of here. Thank you for listening. Bye.